You know, I met him one time. Of course, Judd coached him. You know, sad. I don't know everything that happened, but according to Judd, he was maybe the second greatest player ever coached. So he must have been a hell of a player. I mean, I remember him, but I don't.
Yeah, I didn't know if
met
he
him
was
one time. No.
Well,
So
when you got a chance to look back over the game and the film, what was maybe what would you say the biggest surprise that you saw in your team's performance?
well, we hadn't been playing very good defense. I thought we followed the game plan to the T. We didn't give up penetration. That was a pleasant surprise. We rebounded the hell out of the ball. That was a pleasant surprise. Now there was a negative surprise. We turned the ball over and didn't get back on defense at all. I think they got 7 layups. I mean, dead nuts layups. And they still only shot 38%. But, you know, it's one of those games, as I told John after, us going to UConn helped us. Their first road game, I put stock in the game. I don't put a lot of stock in the game. It's too early. But I saw some good things and I saw some poor things, to be honest with you. We work hard on transition D, and we didn't do a very good job of that. I didn't do a very good job. I played Jeremy to death, and I think he got tired at the end. So we're going to work on that too.
How much of today was not letting what you guys accomplished on Saturday, and the kind of that step you take to not let it slip back?
It's almost embarrassing that we'd even talk about it. It's a fair question, but you win a game, you know. I mean, there's banners hanging over there, you know. We haven't done anything, and some of these guys know what it's like to play in an Elite 8 and the Sweet 16, and so, you know, is it a trap game? Well, of course. You got Arkansas on one side and Kentucky on the other. That's a trap game, no matter what you're saying. But at the same time, you know, they're well coached. Coach was in the Big Ten, so he knows us pretty well, and we got to play better. I mean, we didn't play good enough to win any games on a consistent basis. Our defense was probably good enough. Our rebounding was probably good enough. Our turnovers weren't. Our offensive stuff wasn't. Free throw cutouts was terrible. I got enough to still coach.
What's the biggest thing? Your freshmen played great, Cam and Jordan. We know no one walks on water, but in your experience, when they have such great games early, does that set the bar? Is that the standard for them, or do you expect maybe a little drift just with the nature of the game?
Well, you know what you hope. Those are two pretty intelligent kids that have won a lot of games. That's the advantage of, you know, Cam's won 4 high school championships. I mean, when you get kids like that, you hope it's not, you know. I mean, they didn't work today like it was. Those two did play very well because they just played hard. They made things happen. It wasn't that anybody made a bunch of shots. It was a bunch of dunks, some running to the court. Jordan did a great job of being all over the ball, and he did some things defensively that really impressed us. So I don't think that's going to be an up and down. I really don't. I mean, the only advantage I thought to that game for me was if we would have won the game and shot 55% from the field and 45% from the 3, I would have said, oh geez, you know, how often is that going to happen? But because we won the game more defensively in that, I think that's what gives us something to build on and hold everybody to that standard defensively, but of course, a lot better standard offensively.
Offensively, what do you want to see done? And what
I'd like to make a shot, you know. I mean, 1-3 with some pretty good shots. I did think, somebody asked me in the press conference, I thought we took a couple of bad shots too, but you're going to take a few. But I thought in general, we had enough good shots to make a lot more than we did. And, you know, it's an issue right now that we have to deal with. It hasn't been an issue all summer. So I think we shot it better during the summer, but now the lights are on. We'll see how we do tomorrow.
Half-court defensive performance like that, as a coach, when you put so much stock and emphasis into that, does that elevate your intensity level to get that out of them daily?
Yeah, I mean, yes, I think every day now, you know, we're trying to hold them to a different standard every day because they found out what that could do for them, you know, and give Arkansas credit, you know, because as good as our defense was, we didn't get out and run as well. Now, part of it was because we put a lot of guys to the boards, and we worried about securing the ball because of their length and athleticism. So we didn't get out and get as many breakaways as I would have liked, considering they shot only 38%. But I'm telling you, that's a really good team, and they'll be a really good team. But I don't think we're a really good team yet. But I think we took a step in the right direction. We just got a bunch of steps to take.
So what's a couple things San Jose State does well at the top line that you're sort of
They got a great
looking
point
at?
guard, a really good point guard. Garland, his name is, and he can do a lot of things. He can really. Then they got an African kid who can really shoot the ball. He's 16. So they got some weird matchups. I mean, it's going to be a little more small ball, which can be good, but as we learned against Colgate, can be bad. But their point guard really runs the show, and a kid named Washington is a very good guard too. So they have good guard play, and Tim I thought was a really good coach at Nebraska. I thought he got a bad deal there, to be honest with you. So I know he can coach, and I know he knows our program really well. So that's concerning.
What do you learn more from the response going into a ranked matchup like the one you just played, or the way they respond the next matchup when it's not this ranked, big affair, packed, there's a little bit,
It's a pretty good question. It's a pretty deep question. I think we had to see how they would do when the lights go on in a big game, and we saw that. Now, are we immature enough? Is the culture of this program disintegrated where we'll take the next game, even though it's not against a ranked team? And that's where your seniors and juniors got to be good. That's where Coop, Jeremy, Cohen, and Jack's got to be really, really good. What I do like is I think the two freshmen have won so much that they are still hungry to win. I worry about, the two transfers a little bit. I worry about how they'll respond, so we're going to see.
How hard is it to get your program into a spot where they can collectively respond well to success like you just had on Saturday?
Well, it's been 30 years. It's taken time, and hopefully those players, these current players, look at the goods and bads of other players, and I think that's what's important, and that's why I say the culture and what you've done in the past, it doesn't matter in some ways because it doesn't win you games, but what it does is it shows you the way that you have to be, and by tomorrow we'll look at some things that we didn't do good over my career, and we'll just remind them. Or I always use football, I used it the first night, or last night when Buffalo went to Miami and got beat. It might have cost them a home field advantage, and Miami wasn't very good. So if it happens in the pros, it can definitely happen in college.
Speaking of football, when was the last time you brought pads out like that? I'm struggling to remember.
Yeah, no, we have pads out. We just didn't bring pads and uniforms out because you guys would write about it. I'd get sued and we'd all be unhappy, So, but I might bring them out. I tell you, if we rebounded like we did the first two games, I might come out anyway, and it would be worth the penalty. But I we do use them. We're trying. I think we took a big step. I won't say we were soft. We weren't Michigan State tough in those first two games, and we got punked out at UConn. But a lot of people could get punked there, but that's something we shouldn't do. So, we're trying to make practices more physical.
How much of an impact did Coop make?
Yeah, he was great in the second half. He covered things. He was really good on some of the penetration stuff, calling them out. He kind of directed our defense from behind, which is what you need, And Jeremy was pretty good too. So if you get your guard and your center working together, that usually is positive.
Is that pick and roll with those two? Is that something? I mean, you've had very few guys that run it. Maybe Cash and X.
Yeah, Cash and X would have been close, and even Mateen, we didn't really have anybody there because AJ was always popping, but
less roll.
Yeah, less roll, but that is kind of special. They got a pretty good connection between each other. and Coop's starting to roll harder and harder. And I thought we ran some decent stuff to clear some things out. So it worked in that game.
I know, like, every year of basketball is a little bit different. Some players growing up in there will be better shooters or better with physicality. But I'm wondering if this, like, the way we've emphasized the three-pointers and the sport and all that, are guys as prepared to know how to be physical and how to hit?
Yeah, no, they're not. They're not. I mean, you're not allowed to be physical in AU ball or high school anymore, you know. So you're right. It's like weightlifting, you know. I mean, they get to college and most of them haven't done it because they used to do it because they played football. Now it's illegal to play two sports, so there is that way. But you know, and everybody is just shooting threes. I'd be happy if my guys just shot threes and shot them, put the ball in the basket. But I think we'll start shooting the ball better. I really do, and we'll find out.
You guys have been trying to figure out the two guard. We probably should ask you Saturday. I'm wondering what's the thought about putting Trey in there as opposed to Kerr just at the start, and then you switch up again. But
yeah,
early on,
it wasn't totally fair to Kerr. You know what I mean by that is, I'm trying to evaluate practices, who's making shots and who's guarding right, and it's not real smooth yet, you know. It's something that is still a work in progress. But you think of last year, you know, with Frankie and with Jace and where we were, you know, part of that is going to happen. We're pretty stable at four positions. We're not as stable at that one. And what we need is someone to either make a lot of shots or really guard somebody. And if you're not getting either one, then we got some problems. And right now, that's where we are. But it'll get corrected, I believe. I really do.
And you used Divine at the two a little bit also. How did that look? What were you trying to get there? A little defense in that situation? Or?
No, I was trying to get a little offense. He's still working on finding somebody to guard. So, you know, it's hard on those guys too. I mean, they're coming from different levels and different situations, and you know that's why it's really difficult. If you look at the Big Ten, you look at the number of teams that have played 2 and 3 games and who they've played. Everybody's got a different theory, but that is one of the ways that players get more confidence because they score 120 points or 110 and get a little better in some areas. So I realize that you know that's not fair to our guys, but I think it'll make them better in the long run.
I'm seeing Jordan there, obviously, that length dynamic that he possesses.
He brings length, but he brings really good intelligence. He really has a basketball IQ, and he is playing harder than I thought he would play, to be honest with you. I didn't see that coming. More physical, harder. He's a really good shooter. He's shooting the ball a little flat, so that's what we're talking about.
Do you envision him being more still 3 than 2? I mean, I know they're a little interchangeable, but
for us, they're interchangeable. Thank God he can guard him. We'll see as we play against better and better competition how that works. You know, these guys got a couple guards that can really get downhill, so that'll be interesting to see how he handles that.
For guys who have kind of struggled a little bit early on, could a game with less outside pressure really get them more in rhythm?
You know, I'm just not a big believer in all that. You know, psychological. I mean, I guess it could. I mean, that's the theory of some coaches. That's why they play 4 or 5 cupcakes first, you know. Reality's reality, you know. You better realize this is what you signed up for coming. No secrets about our schedule. So they got to learn that's the way it is, and they got to, you know, act accordingly, and we got to help them. So some of that's on us too. We got to do a good job of helping them, getting them to spend a little more time. We'll do that. We're 2 games in, you know. We're not good enough to be considered any contenders for anything, and yet we made some progress. That's about what
you put a lot of work in for team defense since the Colgate game. Do you feel good about the progress you've been making there?
That's what I did like. We were upset about our defense and rebound, and we did take 4 days, and we went at it, and they responded. Now, offense is a little harder. You don't get to quite do that with your offense as much. But one of the things we did talk about, our screening's got to get better, our passing for shots got to get better. So it's just probably the normal stuff you got to work on.
Still cranking on that defense today, too.
Yeah, we're going to crank on it all the time. We're going to crank on our offense a lot yesterday. We did it yesterday because you guys weren't around, and I thought we could get on them a little bit and surprise you guys sometimes.
Any progress yesterday?
Yeah, I think we made some progress. I just don't like the fact that I don't think we're making as many shots as we should.
I think I know the answer. Do you worry about the placement of this game between Arkansas and the Champions Classic?
You know, I don't for my staff. I don't really know. You know, I don't get to be with the players morning, noon, and night, and that's why I said you got to rely on the Jeremys and the Coops and your veterans that have seen things. I use a lot of analogies of football at this time of year. I just said to these guys, you were out watching a baseball game, I said to these guys that we, you know, we talked about Miami getting beat by beating Buffalo, you know, and I mean, the stuff happens all the time, and I think it happens more now than it used to because I don't think a lot of kids can handle things, both success and failure. So we got to just stay the course, and that's what we tried to do.
Tom, I've got to go ahead.
I just heard John Beeline on the way in on the radio talking about your team, and he said you've got to have the shooter that you've had. You've got to kind of play the hand and find the hot shooter. Is that accurate?
That's very accurate. He's a good coach. But I tell John, even my wife said that to me.
Pretty obvious.
Pretty obvious. So, but I do appreciate, agree with him 100%. But you know, I mean, 2 games in, it's hard to say that that's a problem yet. But it's something that we have to improve on.
Tom, I've got an off-topic question for you. Me and you are old enough to remember when Edmund Fitzgerald went down. You're a Youper. What do you remember about that?
You know, it was Mariucci and I were talking about it last night. I was up in the top bunk. He was in the bottom bunk. I think I was more athletic than him, so I could jump up there. But the alarm went off at 6:30. And I'll remember it till the day I die. And instead of music coming on, it was news about the Edmund Fitzgerald that night. And that was a sobering experience up there because you go to that lake and you know cold and waves and how it is. And so it was a memory that stuck with me for 50 years. And it was sad, but the waters, the roughness, yeah, I do remember it well.
What year was that?
No, it was my freshman year, I believe.
75.
74, 75.
1975.
So Mooch didn't bail on you and said you're on your own, right?
On what?
When you heard that.
When I heard that, he didn't bail on me? What do you mean?
Just saying you're on your fend for yourself.
No, he, you know.
You're on the ship. I know.
Fred,
You weren't on it? You thought you were on it, maybe.
Fred was on that ship. No, but, no, you know, we just, I mean, you had to feel bad. I mean, because we were out there. I think that ship was at Marquette, if I remember right. And probably filled with ore, you know, and was heading in a different direction. But
What the impact of a town of Marquette? You remember that much back then?
I don't, you know, I wasn't as big a community guy then. I was just trying to survive. But, you know, when Gordon Lightfoot wrote the song, you know, I think about it, it's kind of withstood the test of time. And so you got the Edmund Fitzgerald that went down. You got Veterans Day, which I think is such a cool day. I hope all the veterans, I'd like to say thank you to every one of them for the job they've done and the little credit they get. So this is their special day, and I appreciate each and every one of them.
Do you reflect each year on these 11 days for the games you played in that environment?
I do, yes, definitely. I've been fortunate, you know, you think of the Germany game, my 2 trips to Kuwait, the 11/11, and then the other aircraft carrier game. We've done a lot with the military, and we honor them here before every game. I think it's one of the cool things we've done here, and I think it's more than deserving.
I usually see you have a tear in your eye.
I do. My trip to Kuwait, I said this many a times, was tear-jerking, but it was eye-opening. And you kind of, and I was at the honeymoon place. I mean, I was Camp Arab, John, was, you know, where they went for R&R. Now, I went out to a couple of the other camps that were unbelievable, but where I was, it was really a great place. You know, 10,000 people, and I think there was 4,000 in the barracks and 6,000 in tents. But you just realize what our military does. And I said it before, I'll say it again. Greatest team in the world, by far, bar none.
Cohen's dad was in the military, right?
I'm sorry?
Cohen's dad was in the military, right?
Cohen's, I think, was, yes. I think he was. Booker's dad was, yeah.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.